Welcome to CityWise. I'm your host, Tiana Stevens. CityWise is produced by the City of Rochester to shine a spotlight on city living at its best. Well, for some students, navigating the financial aid process can be a barrier to higher education, and that's why Mayor Warren has joined forces with Rochester College Access Network and other partners to help students and parents fill out the free application for federal student aid. FAFSA Fest 2015 is just around the corner, and here to tell us more is Pat Browse, Executive Director of the Rochester Education Foundation, and Mary Gilbert, a counselor at East High. Thanks, ladies, for your time today.
Thank you.
So, Pat, you've been very busy planning all of these events over the last months. How did the idea for this come along?
Well, the idea came along out of a group that we are involved in, Rochester College Access Network. Our goal is to enable all kids who want to go to college in the city, basically to give them the opportunity to do that. And one of the big barriers is filling out this form. It's a bear of a form. It's multiple pages long. And we realized that there could be opportunities to help kids fill out the form, kids and families fill out the form.
Okay. And Mary, you're a member of Rochester College Access Network. Can you just tell us a little bit about the network?
Well, as Pat said, it's the goal is access for students in the city of Rochester, and we know that there's a real correlation between completion of the financial aid form, the FAFSA, and actually enrolling in college. So that is the area that we're really focusing on at this point.
And so FAFSA Fest is a series of events kind of modeled after something that you've been participating with at East High School, College Goal New York. And how does that program work?
Well, it's really pretty straightforward. What we do is ask parents and guardians and seniors in high school to come in with income information from the past year. So in other words, this year's students will bring in their 2014 tax documents, their family's tax documents, or other income information. And they walk in the door and they're greeted by professionals there and registered for the event. And usually within a few minutes, they're in a computer lab with some volunteers, including financial aid professionals, and they complete the online FAFSA right then and there. And usually we're done within about an hour for each family.
And how many students usually turn out for that?
Well, we've had as many as 200 families. Last year I think we had about 160 or so families participate.
So it's a very big effort, and luckily there's a lot of partners that have been involved along the way. Who are some of those partners that are helping out with this?
Well, the nice thing about the College Access Network, we have literally every local college and university. We have not-for-profit groups. We have the City of Rochester. We have the City School District, the Community Foundation. We have some businesses. So we have really gotten some great involvement in this. And I think because of this group joining together, it's really gathered some momentum and excitement.
And so the first date is going to be Sunday, February 8th at East High.
That's right.
And then 3 more dates after that. Do you want to tell us how do the events differ from one another?
Sure. Well, the East High event is sort of the grandfather event, and we are encouraging people to go to that event. But we also have an event at Monroe Community College's downtown campus, free parking in the Mortimer Street garage. There'll be a little bit of a fair there, so there'll be some booths where people can learn about different things. But that event will be, as I said, a nice chance for families and young people to see the downtown campus of MCC. We also have an event at the Sully Library, and then an event at Phyllis Wheatley. So what our goal was really to have something in every part of the city.
Right.
Where many of the events after the East High event are during the school break, because that's a time when we thought this would be an opportunity to have that would make it a little bit easier for families to get there. There will be free refreshments and some free food. So one of the events is at 5 o'clock, so you could just come after work. And our thinking is just having it in these places, it'll be just that much easier for people to go. It's kind of like filling out your taxes. It's not like something people really want to do, but it's really beneficial. It makes such a big difference. In fact, we found a study that found that families and kids who were got some support filling out these forms, they were 29% more likely to finish 2 years of college than families who did not get that help. So this is really, it's a big deal. The other thing I wanted to point out is that only about half of our Rochester City Schools seniors filled out this form last year.
Okay.
So we have some room for improvement.
Right.
Okay. So Mary, in your experience with the event at East High School, what has the feedback been from parents and students?
Oh, well, fantastic, of course. I think one of the things that sticks with me is because it's such an intimidating process, once families go through it for the first time and see what the form is like, and by the way, when they're doing this, they're doing it for themselves. They're just getting assistance doing it. So once they've gone through the process the first time, and you know, you have to do it every year you're going to college, right? Once you've seen it one time, it's okay the next year. It's really not as scary. And that is actually one of the things I really appreciate about the way we do this is it's kind of like there's a little hand holding, but then you're sort of off on your own if you want to.
What do you think some of the other barriers to, I mean, even just thinking about college for kids?
I think for their parents and guardians, they're afraid of the money. Those price tags are scary. When you're talking about a private school costing $50,000 to $60,000 a year, how do you wrap your head around that? But the reality is that many of those schools have endowments that allow them to really help kids be able to afford school. So when I'm working with my students, what I explain to them is they need to cast their nets kind of broadly, widely, pick a number of schools that they're interested in, go through the process, apply for financial aid, and then see what happens. Because you might find that the school that has a high sticker price is really affordable after the financial assistance. So.
Do you recommend a certain number of schools that kids should look at?
If I have a go-to number, it's 6.
6.
But you know, more than that is really okay too. But I'd like to see my kids start with at least 6. Yeah.
I wanted to point out too, one of the big barriers is just knowledge, and I think some of what Mary just referred to some of that. But we know that kids just don't know that much about how you apply to college, how you pick a college, how you get the money for college, and so one of the first things Rochester College Access Network did is we said we talked to students and they wanted more information, so we said let's create a website. So we do have a website, rochestercan.org, which has a ton of good information, and it's really interesting what is looking, because you can track what people look at. What people are looking at the most are our local colleges, because most people go to college within like a 100-mile radius of their home. And we have tremendous local colleges here, and some of them have programs such as RIT, called City Scholars, which is geared to attracting qualified Rochester City School District graduates. Kids don't necessarily know that, so this is we really are hoping people will take a look at the website and use it.
And now one of the partners has offered an incentive for one of the events, the February 18th event. You want to tell us about that one? Well,
actually, I think it's for all the events after College Goal New York, which is the February 8th event. 8 $500 scholarships to MCC will be basically, I think it's a raffle, basically, or a drawing.
Okay.
So at each of those other 3 events, they'll have an opportunity to qualify for that.
That's wonderful. Now, are these events free? Do people need to pre-register or make appointments? How does that work?
Well, they're free, and they don't need to pre-register, and it's such a good question, because one of the many reasons we decided to do this is that we heard that there are some people who actually charge families to fill out this FAFSA form. That shouldn't be happening. So this is absolutely free.
Right, I agree.
So what about students whose families or students that speak another language other than English? Is there going to be translators on hand?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we will have Spanish as people who speak Spanish. Yes.
Okay.
I'm not sure about other languages. We have such a great community in terms of so much diversity. So there may be other languages spoken.
Yeah, we'll have Spanish speakers at the College Goal New York event, and occasionally we rely on our students to help with some of the other translation.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. What are some of the other services that Rochester College Access Network provides?
Well, we have, let me just think for a second. We have done something called Training the Trainers, which we're going to do again this spring, where we've basically had an event where we called youth workers in and said, can we give you sort of the update on how you help students get into college? So we've done that. We also are looking at something where we would try to get 10th graders, all 10th graders, to visit a college campus. Because what happens now is a lot of 12th graders go, and by the time you're in 12th grade, it's a little bit late. Even the end of 11th grade, we really want to encourage kids to start going to a college campus, seeing what opportunities are there, and then, you know, hopefully that will motivate them to, well, I want to be a nurse, so I need to do this. It's really hard for kids to picture why I should do this kind of academic program if you've never been to a college, your parents never went to college. You don't really know that that's an opportunity.
And I'd like to add to that, I think it's really important for kids to set foot on a campus, and that's one of the things that makes them feel as if college is a possibility. You have to be comfortable with the environment, with the idea of going to college, and seeing yourself there is important. And I also think that that's one of the things that's cool about the website is it's local folks. So the kids can kind of, they're not only finding out about local colleges, but they see people who look like them and are their peers, and that's a real motivator.
Yeah, we're very excited because the rochestercan.org website, it is true, the photos are all of city kids on our college campuses. We also have a feature on it where you can see the admissions officer at different local colleges. So you can zip them an email and then they will send you materials. So all those things we're hoping will make this knowledge a little bit more accessible for our local kids.
Wonderful. So we're looking forward to those events. Thank you so much for your time today, ladies.
Thank you.
And to, again, look at that schedule. It's rochestercan.org. The full schedule of dates and times is posted there. You can also call 271-5790.